a sustainable mid 20% growth pace for years.
It's the slow burn that has investors captivated by this rising AI player.
It's the innovation pipeline that really drives business, kind of sets it apart from anybody else in its space.
MarketBeat's Thomas Hughes has been following this company for the last year and shares why this run-up is still a good time to get in.
We've already grown 20% in the last year, so you have to think that the market is actually underpricing the stock today.
Could this red-hot AI stock just be heating up? Let's dive in. Tom, it's so great to have you back on the channel talking about this stock that is having a really great week in the market. Before we dive into the details, just some info for our viewers. We love having you join us for all of these videos. It means a lot to have you watching, but would really love to have you subscribe and join us for the long run. So many people watch these videos but aren't subscribed yet, and it would really help out our channel, help more people to find us if you hit that subscribe button right now. Well, Thomas, let's dive into this company I'm excited to talk about today. It really is red hot, even though the name isn't really that hot.
That's right. Yeah, we're talking about Snowflake. Snowflake is a data-focused company. They're cloud-based. They're into data storage and data lakes. And if you're not familiar with a data lake, that is, it's a large data service that businesses need. It essentially is a centralized repository for all of their data in a raw form, but not just like a storage center. It also is able to manipulate and analyze that data. And so if you were in that company, you could go to the lake and say, I need to know everything about this. And the lake would search all that data and figure it out for you and then give you your information. It's kind of a precursor to what a lot of AI models need. You know, you could think the AI model might be going after the data lake itself, but it would be more efficient if the AI model was using a trimmed, a managed, an engineered data set that was made just for whatever it was the purpose is. And so that's what Snowflake does.
This company just reported earnings, and that's what all the buzz is about right now. We're going to dive into the earnings details and why it has so many people, including analysts, excited about this company. But first, I want to backtrack a little bit and talk about some drama this company has had in the last year. I know, Thomas, you've written several articles on MarketBeat about Snowflake over the past year and a half. So let's dive into some of the history of this company.
Right. So Snowflake has been a pretty strong emergent AI company for a couple of years. Last year, it had a forecast for a sustainable mid 20% growth pace for years, right? But that forecast kind of came into question because the previous CEO wasn't really executing as well as maybe he could have. There was a sudden and abrupt, surprising CEO change. That CEO change also kind of clouded the outlook and has impacted the stock price over the past year. We weren't sure if they were going to be able to sustain this 20% growth pace, but this new report has affirmed that the appointment of Sridhar Ramaswamy as CEO was a very, very good move for this business.
Yeah, whenever the market is this excited about a stock, Thomas, it's when we start to see a lot of big moves just like this stock is seeing right now. The best way that you can stay on top of big market moves like this is to sign up for our new free SMS alert program. All you have to do is text YouTube to 68285, and then you can set any stocks you want to follow with instant alerts that will come right to your phone. It's a totally free investing tool our team of developers here at MarketBeat have created just for you, our YouTube viewers, to help make investing a little easier for you. And again, just pick the stocks that you want to follow, especially stocks like this one, where, yeah, in a big way, this stock has had a really big run up in just the last 24 hours after earnings. So what has investors and analysts so excited about this earnings report?
Well, we've got top and bottom line outperformance and improved guidance. But ultimately what it does is it just reaffirms that outlook for a sustained mid 20% growth pace for the next few years. So instead of it being like, well, you know, maybe it's going to happen, it's more like, yeah, it's going to happen. And so that's got the market pretty excited.
Yeah, they're very excited right now, Thomas. In fact, there's several analysts already in the last day doing more upgrades on this stock, expecting the future to run even higher than expected, saying some really great things about Snowflake's future too.
Well, right. The big takeaway is that they're pleased with the new CEO. The short of it is his appointment was a shot in the arm that has reinvigorated the business. The two things that he's really done to really invigorate sales and to affirm that long-term forecast is to align their go-to market strategies with the sales team. So not only are they going to customers, but they're more efficiently and more successfully channeling that activity into sales. But also he's invigorated the innovation pipeline. When it comes to a software company, especially with AI today, it's the innovation pipeline that really drives business, because if they're not going to do it, somebody else will.
Absolutely. There's so much competition in this field right now. What sets Snowflake apart and has investors and analysts excited about its future in particular?
Well, it's got the unified platform, the data lake capability, and the warehousing capability makes it a must-have piece of any company's data management protocols. They're going to need to have places where they can store the data, keep it in its raw form, unadulterated, where they can get back to it at will, at need, and to glean what they can from it when they want to.
I think one thing I wanted to backtrack it and follow up on too is the claim or the hope that this company is going to see a sustained 20% growth every year is really significant. That's a lot to say that this company is going to continue to only compound its growth year after year after year. Why is that? What is it about this business model that makes them confident it's going to see that continued pretty high growth rate?
It's the growing dependence on digitization, the deepening penetration of digitization into every business and every life, and the rapidly expanding capability of AI. So, businesses are going to need to keep their data handy and be able to manage it in order to get information from it and to use that information to drive business. Its leadership position kind of sets it apart from anybody else in its space. It will become, and it is becoming, a must-have part of any data management protocol. So a company might be working with Microsoft and Oracle with their data. They will probably also need to use a company like Snowflake to help manage it over time.
And that's why this is one of those new hot AI stocks out there, because there is such demand for it. That's also what makes this such a high growth stock. If you are looking for other high growth opportunities, Thomas has another list for you that's just for our viewers right now. You can scan this QR code or click the link we have in the description of the video to get Thomas's report on the next 7 blockbuster stocks just for growth investors. You can download that right in this video and check out the other names he has in this sector. Well, we've talked a lot about the company and the demand. I want to talk about the specifics. If we can pull up the chart and just look at where is a good point if investors are interested in this company simply because of all of the buzz it's getting right now, where's a good point to get in? It's seen quite a run up in the last day or two. What's a good entry point for this stock right now?
Today, with this 10% gain, I would say that even today is a good time to get into the stock, because what I'm seeing in the chart is the market has melted up to reclaim the support level that it lost when the CEO change took place. So in my view, what's happened is the last year was this kind of throwaway where we're waiting to see what's going to happen. But now the market has kind of reconnected with this story, has put the price action back where it was a year ago. We've already grown 20% in the last year. So you have to think that the market is actually underpricing the stock today. With the forecast the way it is, I would expect to see the stock price continue to trend higher over time.
Let's talk about the forecast too. Exactly what are analysts expecting for this stock, and what are some of those new higher upgrades that we've seen?
Well, right. So the forecast right now, the company's own guidance for the Q2 was for a 25.5% advance. That's better than expected. That's well within the analyst's long-term forecasted range. Within the report, there are some interesting details like the remaining performance obligation. That's up 35%. So that's a leading indicator suggesting that the business could accelerate this year. But also the net retention rate is 124%. It is slowing from this even loftier levels, but 124% is still a pretty strong number, showing that existing businesses are still adding a lot of services on a year-over-year basis, helping to sustain that high growth pace.
All right, so let's dive right into those price targets. What are analysts specifically expecting for this stock?
Well, the response since the release has been pretty robust. MarketBeat is tracking over a dozen revisions in the last 24 hours. They all include price target increases. This activity has actually lifted the consensus target by 5% in just one day. That implies a 5% upside, not very much, but the high end range of targets is also rising with these revisions, and that's suggesting a 25% upside from today. Now, expecting the company to continue performing as it has, sustaining that growth pace, potentially outperforming in upcoming quarters, we can expect this analyst upgrade cycle to continue and for those price targets to continue rising as the year progresses and potentially lifting this stock above the 250 mark and up towards $300.
Well, that's right in line with the company's projected 20 to 25% growth every year. I want to talk about potential risk factors before we close out this video today, Thomas. Is there anything in the economy, in AI developments that could impact the future trajectory of this company?
So this is a tech company we're talking about, and it's still fairly small. The biggest risk will be competition. There are some much larger cloud-based data management companies that could potentially come in and scoop them on their business. As it is, they have a pretty wide moat. Analysts view them as a fairly unique pure play in data management. So it would take a pretty big move by another player to disrupt them. So right now, there is some risks, but I think they're pretty limited.
Important to keep those risk factors in mind, but overall, this company seems like it has a strong future ahead and is a really good AI play right now. Thomas, thank you so much for diving into this company a little more. Let us know what you think. Are you a Snowflake investor? Are you just learning about this company and interested in investing? We'd love to hear your thoughts on Snowflake in the comments. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and as always, happy investing.